Sir, do you know why I pulled you over?
Speeding?
No, it's because your intro sucks. Please step out onto the curbside.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another week of the Curbside Podcast, the podcast where we talk about cars and everything to do with cars. My name is Jeff. I drive a 2004 Honda S2000, and I am your Taiwanese American Southern Californian.
I'm tired. You're tired.
Yes.
I'm Parth. Drive a 2016 M3, living up in Bay Area, Northern California. Long day for both of us. Jeffrey has to wake up at 3 a.m. We're recording this at 9 p.m. the day before.
Yes, great. 3 a.m. Gotta wake up for work tomorrow, so we gotta get this show on the road right now.
So the bunch of cars, bunch of stuff came out. Stuff is going down. Ha ha ha, laffy taffy, rave bullshit. All right, guys, have a good night.
All right, drive safe. Life is too short to drive cars.
All right, boring cars. Yeah, bye. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
No Andrew today because he's got, work stuff too, so our schedules are fantastic. But anyway, remember last week how you said, cars are basically tech now?
Yeah, it's basically like an iPhone.
Well, good news, Parth. One of the biggest auto shows of the year has passed by just this week.
What?
CES 2021.
Have I wronged you in some way? Have I said something? That's not right. And I know you say that as a joke, but he's not wrong either. CES has become, forget about the computers, forget about the, Apples and Androids and Microsofts. It's all about the BMWs and Hyundais making an appearance there.
So if you guys don't know, the CES is the Consumer Electronics Show that happens.
Electronics.
That happens every year, usually in Las Vegas. But of course, this year due to COVID, it's all been streamed online. And usually, the show is usually about different companies releasing TVs, weird computer concepts, and whatnot. But more and more every year. It seems like more and more car companies go there to unveil some new feature about their car or whatnot. And this year was no different. In fact, it might have been even more than usual. So I'm going to bring you some of the most fantastic car news to come out of CES this year. Two kind of big things, basically, from CES were, two big companies. Let's start off with Mercedes. All right, Mercedes took their time at CES to unveil what everyone in the car world was waiting for. Every gearhead, automotive enthusiast, most excited for this type of news. All right,
a new Mercedes V12.
Even better than that.
Okay.
It's even better than that. Mercedes-Benz has taken CES to reveal their new screen.
Yo, why'd they put the vents in it? Why'd they keep the vents in this, bro? What? Why? What purpose does this serve? I thought it was an airplane or some spaceship when I first looked at it, dude. If you guys haven't seen this, either check this video out on the YouTubes, or go to mercedes-benz.com and type in EQS. Just type that shit and you'll probably find it.
Yeah, so what Mercedes has decided to reveal is their new next generation of what they call their MBUXs. It's been their new sort of basically like BMW's iDrive or whatnot, but they have a new interface that will be coming out with Mercedes' new electric car. The EQS, which is basically supposed to be like the electric S-Class, but they call it the Hyperscreen. It's supposed to be some gigantic screen that stretches across the dash under one big glass panel with 2 air vents in it or whatever. Okay?
Those, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you would have just shown me those air vents, I'd be like, yeah, that's sick. That's sick, dude. Those air vents look really good, dude.
They're nice looking air vents.
Why would you include? Like, you're showing the display, right? You're showing this new screen. They're like, let's leave the air vents in, guys. Just leave them in. You know, like.
I'll tell you why, Parth. You know why I think they put them in? Because there would be like no frame of reference.
I see where it starts, ends, and all that.
This would be like, cool, Mercedes. Thank you for showing me a big slab of glass.
Why couldn't they render it onto like a car, like an actual interior?
Because that means they would have to reveal the interior of the EQS, which they don't want to do yet.
Oh my god, dude. These guys, they just fucking showed the screen. It's like as if like Apple comes out with the new, this is not a tech podcast, we're talking tech. Actually, fuck it, dude. This is a tech podcast now.
Might as well be a tech podcast.
Okay, because car companies are tech companies now.
Exactly.
This is a tech podcast. Hell, welcome to the, best tech podcast of the goddamn internet. So, this is like Apple comes out with like a new Retina display, like fucking 12K shit, right? Some like next level thing, and they just put the display up and don't put like the Mac or the the touchy keypad or the keyboard part of it or anything. Just the display, not even the trim around the display, just the display. That's equivalent to that's what Mercedes just did, dude.
Okay, if you guys want to imagine this, just take kind of like the dashboard, instrument cluster, take the center console, and take like the passenger airbag section, mold it all together, shave off all of the buttons, everything on it, except the air vents, and replace it with all glass.
I have an easier way to imagine this for you than Jeffrey. If you have a child, or if you have access to a child, I don't know what that means, but like have them draw you tell me, draw me a spaceship, right? Draw me a fucking spaceship, like a big ass spaceship, and you should only have 2 like engines or jets or rockets. That's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, but anyways, the idea is it's supposed to be one gigantic screen for the entire car. But they didn't commit to this, all right? This isn't one gigantic. This is not one gigantic screen. It is 3 screens oddly shaped under a piece of glass.
Bro, that was my first thought, that when you showed this to me, you said, Mercedes' new like display. I was like, it's not one display though. It doesn't look like
it's
one display.
Not. It's basically their current setup with the 2 big 12-inch displays next to each other in a weird arrangement and under one piece of glass, and the freaking passenger gets to play with a screen as well if they want to.
So they basically took the idea that Ferrari made like years ago, having the passenger have a little display to see like revs, RPMs, miles per hour, stuff like that. And then they were like, new display, and it's just 3 displays under one pane of glass.
Yeah, basically. That's what they're calling a hyper screen. It's hyper glass with screens under it, is basically what it is.
And you know what the worst thing is, Jeff? It's going to make the interior look worse. You know how, like, these new TVs, like you buy a big Samsung, LG, Sony, big-ass TV, right? They all have, like, this always-on mode where you can put it on and it displays, like, a fucking picture, like a background, or, like, a sunset or some bullshit, right?
Yeah. You
know why they do that? Because they say, sometimes it may be ugly. Like, say you have a wall-mounted TV with all the wires hidden nicely and stuff. They say, it's ugly to just have like a black thing just on your wall there, right?
Yeah.
Now when this guy gets out of his car, turns his car off, walks away, somebody's like, look, the new SCQ shit, bullshit, whatever, and looks inside, it's gonna be nothing. It's just black. It's just black. Just the black. No buttons, no nothing, no artistry, just glass.
You know how screens get really dated over just a couple of years?
Yes.
Imagine like a couple of years down the line, you have your first generation EQS, and you're staring into it. It's gonna be like, oh cool, check out my S-Class with its entire dash made out of the equivalent of what would be now PlayStation 2 graphics, dude.
Dude, 100%. Forget about like the display and like the colors and the HDR and bullshit. Just pure resolution. Resolution itself is changing so fast, and it's gonna keep changing, that whatever they have in this thing, 5 years from now, it's gonna look like goddamn Atari graphics.
Anyways, so while they were revealing this screen, at the very end of their reveal, they did tease a shadowy image of what the EQS was going to be.
Why does it have to look like shit? Why does it have to look like a boo-boo and like the stupid shit we used to see in like the futuristic movies back in the 90s and shit? Make something nicer. Make the future at F40, but future.
I agree, okay? Car designers, you have a new platform to work with now. You could still make it look good. What you don't want to do is do what... So the next big player, actually the major car player in CES this year was GM. And they announced a bunch of stuff. But since we're on the topic of design for electric cars of the future, I'm going to start off with this news that came out of GM. And it comes from Cadillac, and it is called their Halo concept. It's like their vision of what future transportation is going to be like.
I'm not looking forward to this, dude. I really don't want to be labeled like the angry, or let's talk to our resident old guy, or a resident angry person. But I'm not getting anything that's not making me not angry. I'm very upset, dude. Like, what the fuck is that shoebox looking ass thing, dude?
Take your living room, cut it out of your house, put some wheels on it, and then put a Cadillac badge on it. It's like,
and then some Koenigsegg ass doors.
It's literally inside. That's all it is. It's a couch and a freaking ottoman, and it has Cadillac on the doorsill. This
what the fuck, dude?
This has absolutely zero things to do with Cadillac. Nothing. The only thing that makes this a Cadillac, guys, is the fact that it has a Cadillac badge on it. That's it. It's just a pod. You could put a Toyota badge on it. You could put a Honda badge on it. Yeah. You could put a freaking Bugatti badge on it. That's what it is. It's a box.
You can just put a Kohler badge on it because Kohler, the guys who make toilets and shit. Yeah,
like you can put whatever badge you want on it. GM could have used any one of their nameplates for this, but they decided to put Cadillac on it for some reason. So let's get all the bad news, like the worst news, out of the way. Another one of Cadillac's vision of future transportation was their.
What the fuck is that, dude?
It's an electric flying machine. It's like it's one of those freaking future drone things. You know, you sit in it and it takes off. Vertically.
I hate it when car companies or companies and all that stuff, they show this shit off and they act as if we live in the fucking Flintstones era, because we live in the real fucking world, Jeffrey. Have you noticed that? I think you have noticed that. So we don't live in this made up Fantasyland fucking universe. These people who think they're gonna have flying cars in the next 10 years are stupid. You know why they're stupid, Jeffrey? Because as somebody whose profession is to be up there most of my time, drones. In the last 10 years itself, flying fucking DJI Phantom drones to take photos and videos of your cars and your other shit and whatever you do with drones, that itself has gotten so much more difficult. Like, the FAA is cracking down on it. Everybody's cracking down on it. It's a huge problem. There's people who are uneducated about it. They're trying to find a way to educate. It's an issue. They don't like it. People who fly big real airplanes don't fucking like this shit. You know why? Because it doesn't make sense how it's gonna integrate. Why is grandma goddamn gonna fly in a flying shit and then come face to face with a 747 one day? Do you want grandma to come face to face with a 747 on her way to pick up her goddamn prescription meds? Because that's the shit that's gonna happen. He thinks I'm kidding. I'm being serious.
Yeah, Cadillac didn't just release their, ridiculousness of the freaking flying car and the box car and whatnot. They also teased, you know how last year, I think, they released their concept called the Cadillac Lyric, their electric SUV. So at CES, they teased their Celestiq, or Celestiq. And get this, Cadillac says each one of them is going to be handmade and bespoke. So this is going to be an expensive car. But, I like this because I've always thought that Cadillac needs to be what it used to be. It needs to have a car that I cannot afford, even if I, dreamed about it. Right?
Yeah.
That's what Cadillac once was. and they teased this is gonna be a all-electric, a cabin rearward. So that means long hood, designed electric car. They didn't tease much of it. It's all sort of like shadowy images and whatnot. But you know, this is good news. Also in GM's like press thing, there was a frame where the guy who was speaking had basically all the electric cars they had planned kind of like teased in the background. You know, of course there was the silhouette of the Hummer and then the two Cadillacs, and there were a couple of things in the background that no one really recognized.
Sorry to cut you off, but see, Hummer, that's an example of a group of people who get it. They get it, dude.
You know what I didn't mention about the Hummer?
Uh-huh.
Freaking, you know how I told you about the Watch to Freedom mode?
Yeah.
That does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds?
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that that's just not a 0 to 60 mode, dude. That's a 0 to 60 experience. You know what happens when you engage Watch to Freedom mode?
No.
So apparently GM worked with Bose, you know, the people that designed the sound system.
Yeah.
Okay? So as I said before, the car, you know, hunkers down, it axes its maximum power.
Yeah.
And not only that, the seat starts to vibrate.
Ooh.
The subwoofers start to vibrate. They start playing some guitar riffs.
Actually?
Right? So you're getting that 0 to 60 in 3 seconds spaceship movie Mad Max style experience, dude. Now that's what I'm talking about. That does nothing to do with like technology and practicality and whatnot. That's just so you can get in your car, bust down whatever street you want,
and laugh your head off.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so they teased a bunch of these cars in the background, and one of them, it looks like an SUV with very, very Corvette features. So that's the thing.
Oh, no. You know why? Because the Mustang Mach-E, bro. That's why, dude. They're going to do a Corvette freaking Mach-J, bro. I don't know.
And all of these electric vehicles are based off of what GM calls their Ultium battery technology. It's basically kind of like it expandable, and you know, they could stack the batteries in different ways. They said like you could stack the batteries on top of each other for like thick chassis off-roaders, or they could stack them horizontally for like low-slung sports cars. So they are still thinking about sports cars, which is good. And this stuff is actually kind of important because this is actually going to be, if rumors are believed, the same technology that Honda is going to use for their electric cars, because Honda is going to be working with GM to build their future electric cars. So, yeah.
Honda working with GM?
And then finally, GM at CES decided to drop an entirely new company, a brand new company that they're calling Bright Drop. And apparently it's going to be their like more commercial-oriented brand. One of the things that's coming out of this brand is a electric delivery truck, this
is the type of shit that should be focused on to go electric, Jeff. Delivery vehicles, mail trucks, that kind of shit, because the FedEx guy that's driving an internal combustion FedEx truck doesn't give a shit if it's internal combustion, internal combustion or electric.
Yeah, so GM has released, I guess, a concept or plans of releasing what they call the EV600, which is they're going to be their delivery van, which has 250 miles of range, fast recharge times and all that. And the first customer that signed on with them is going to be FedEx. Also, to come out of this Bright Drop company is they call it their electric pallet, I guess. It's a new way of moving things around the warehouse. It kind of looks like a cupboard with roly-poly wheels, you know, those things.
Yeah.
It's got like motors in it or something to help things be more easy in the warehouse. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of those like robots that run people over at the Amazon warehouses. You know what I mean?
I don't know they run people over, but yeah. Yeah, man.
But yeah, so that was basically all the big things from one of the year's biggest auto shows, CES 2021. And
I think just because you said that now, it's just going to be a thing. That's just going to be... Next year, watch the tagline. One of the biggest automotive shows is back. 2022, CES. Everyone's going to be confused as shit. Sony and like Samsung will be like, wait, what? Do we need to make cars to be in here?
No, dude, no. Remember last year, CES? Sony released a car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We roasted the shit out of that.
Yeah, so that's not even a joke, dude. Sony legit made a car last year. So, yeah, we're looking forward to a bright future, Parth, don't you think?
I see what you did there because of the GM.
Oh, yeah. No, we have a bright drop future to look for. Anyways, shall we go to our break?
Yeah.
Parth.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when you're in the shower and you are doing some landscaping on your wedding vegetables with your trusty pair of rusty scissors, and then suddenly you kind of cut what you don't want to cut, and then you get tetanus, and then you die?
No, I don't. I have no idea what's going on in that situation. So that's all you, man. And you know why that's all you, Jeff?
Why?
Because I use fucking Manscaped, dog.
Why is Manscaped so much better than using my rusty scissors?
First of all, I don't know if this is worth telling you, because if you just apparently constantly get tetanus and you constantly are dying, this might just be wasted, because this guy has a short-lived future. But to hopefully save one of your 9 lives, apparently, you gotta get the Manscaped, bro. They got their Lawnmower 3.0, 7,000 RPM blade.
Oh, that's
RPM.
faster than my rusty scissors.
Yeah, bro. And no matter how fast you be wanking that shit, I'm talking about the scissors, too. I'm talking about the scissors. I'm not talking about nothing else. 7,000 RPM, ceramic blade. It's safe for you and your, what'd you say, your wedding vegetables? Some shit like that. It's a phrase I never heard of before. And also, LED light on that thing to...
I can't use the rusty scissors in the dark.
Yeah, you probably tried too, haven't you? Get yourself a Manscaped thing, bro.
But hey, I could use the rusty scissors in the shower.
Manscaped, the Lawnmower 3.0 is waterproof, bro. Why do you need to be using the rusty scissors and making it more rusty and shit? The Manscaped 3.0, it's waterproof. That shit's designed to go in there and just wipe it dry when you're done. And it has a fantastic little charger thing. It looks better than like fucking Apple products, dude. You just plop that bitch in there and boom, it's charging. You don't got to worry about, like some of those other trimmers and shit. They got the weird ass wires, the wrong cable. It's just a base, sits there nicely. You can clean it up after you're done cleaning yourself up. And then just put it on the thing, let it charge. And Jeffrey, how long does it take you to do your rusty scissor shit?
What do you mean? How long?
How long does it take for your dull ass, rusty ass scissors? And like, how long are you spending in the goddamn shower, like giving yourself tetanus?
It's only 4 hours.
Too much time. Dude, the Lawnmower 3.0, it'll do it faster. And even if for some reason you gotta be in there for a while because you haven't done it for a few minutes, like you're out, it's a jungle down there type situation, 90-minute battery on that motherfucker, dude. Who the hell is gonna be in the shower for 90 minutes doing some manscaping? But these guys were like, if you want to be out there for 90 minutes, we'll give you the capability of doing that. That's some serious home renovation that you may be undertaking if you're using all 90 minutes, but you have that ability with the Lawnmower 3.0.
Okay, so how would I go about in getting this? I don't know if it's better than my rusty scissors product, but I'll give it a try. How should I go about and do this?
Manscaped.com. And here's the great thing. You're on this podcast, bro. Or if you're not on this podcast, you're listening to this podcast because you're hearing us have this conversation, right? If you go to Manscaped.com, Jeffrey, right, you get 20% off and free shipping with the code Curbside at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped.com and use code Curbside, CURBSIDE. Curbside. Not that hard. You can do it.
And with that, let's get back to the show. And it's time for the... Actually, this entire show has been the news, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, also like crying and ranting and me getting pissed off. That's the usual, actually. That's nothing new.
Anyway, continuation of the news, I guess.
Not really from CES, though. So,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
a topic change.
Non-CES news.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
got some news. 2021 Ford F-150 Raptor R is coming.
Raptor R. What's that?
It's gonna have. It's the R version of. It's racing. I
So
don't know
it's
what the R stands for.
so it's the superpowered version of the superpowered version of
the F-150.
F-150. What?
Yes.
Okay. So what is this thing gonna be?
700 horsepower with the V8 in it.
So they saw the T-Rex,
Yes.
the Ram TRX,
Yes.
that was making 707 horsepower.
Yes.
And the Raptor was like, nah, dude.
Yes. So did you and this is something I didn't know. Apparently on the airbox cover of the TRX, the T-Rex, whatever,
Yeah.
there's apparently a size comparison of the two dinosaurs. And then on the interior, there's like a picture of the Raptor the T-Rex eating the Raptor on like the interior dashboard.
Really?
Yeah, on the T-Rex.
I mean, like, Ram threw a lot of shade at the Raptor when they released the TRX. Like, the entire commercial.
That is what's on the airbox cover. If you ever buy a TRX or if you see one, any people listening out there, go open your hood, check that out. There's a picture of a T-Rex eating a Raptor. That's basically Ram saying it's taking a shit on the Ford Raptor. Ford was like, we can't let that happen. So they're like, okay, we're gonna come out. They're gonna come out with their same twin turbo EcoBoost Nation V6 twin turbo 450 horsepower, like that's anything less. But they're gonna put the same V8 that's found in the Shelby GT500 into the Raptor, and also the 2021 Ford Raptor, all of them, because this is something that apparently Ram also made fun of. So they used to have leaf spring suspension, especially in the rear. Well, they're going coil spring rear suspension in the 2021. Not just for the R, but for the regular F-150 Raptor. So Ram kind of slapped Ford's ass and was like, hey, get up, let's go. So Ford is now like waking up and it's ready to go. And the Raptor will come with 35-inch BF Goodrich K02 all-terrain tires, wide fenders, and the famous Ford script on the grill.
No, it's gonna say freaking Ram on the grill. But has this thing been released yet already, or
no, not yet?
Like...
It's still camo stage. But like, what are they gonna change? I mean, it's gonna be very similar exterior, just gonna have a fat ass engine in it. They should, in my opinion, I feel like Ford should like play into Ram's like T-Rex eating Raptor shit, and do like a picture of like a group of Raptors taking a T-Rex down. They need to play into this, because American companies competing with each other is nothing but good for like consumers.
Yeah, that's true. And it'll be good fun too.
Yeah. It is what it is, right? But there's a guy literally getting paid at Ford to sit there and think of a way to come out with a media stunt that's going to destroy the T-Rex. And has to include the Raptor. That's what he goes to work at 9 o'clock in the morning and sits down and he's like, let me think of... This guy's going through like goddamn like geology books and like shit like that to figure out how can a Raptor destroy a T-Rex and how do we incorporate that into our branding.
That means GM's got to come out with a pickup truck that's got a lot of power, and they got to call it
the Brontosaurus.
The Asteroid.
Oh, shit. Just call it Extinction. Oh, that's sick, Jeffrey. Chevy. Listen. If you for some reason work at Chevy and you're about to take my idea, throw us something, dude. Like literally a couple dollars even. If you're gonna take that idea, I'm okay with it. Just there's something has to be in there for us. That will be a fantastic name, Jeffrey. Extinction. Oh,
it's gonna have freaking 800 horsepower,
dude. Because it'll be like. Dude, like these childish guys talking about Raptors and T-Rex and just fucking exterminated, bro. Just Extinction. That's it, dude. Oh, I should go work at Chevy. And like I said, the only people that benefit from this is the consumers.
Yep. we get 700 plus horsepower trucks. Because
Freaking
it's all
truck stuff.
very, very necessary, dude.
They're gonna pull up to a guy like a Ferrari and shit, like a 458. He'll be able to keep up, man, on a straight line. That's for sure.
More news. I feel like this entire show is also just American news, except for
Fuck
the
yeah.
freaking Mercedes thing. So we touched on this a bit last week, or I teased it. It hadn't come out yet. But Jeep has released their new generation of Grand Cherokee, and there's I guess it's a long wheelbase version of it now called the Grand Cherokee L. And it now has 3 rows, and you know what? I think it looks pretty good.
I think it looks good too. American cars, Jeffrey. This is what I don't know. I don't know. Okay, look. I don't know if it's a bit of both, I'm guessing. I'm starting to like American cars more and respect them more, but I also feel like they are making just better stuff now than they were literally 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, they are. So, as always, this Grand Cherokee is going to be a very good off-roader. It's got Jeep's, a 4x4 systems in there. It's got a new, I guess it's called the Quadra Lift system, which is basically air suspension that kind of raises the car up. It could select the terrain, kind of like a Range Rover. It can afford water up to 24 inches, and it has the maximum towing capacity of 7,200 pounds. It's going to come in 2 drivetrains, the typical Pentastar V6 and the V8. But all that aside, boring numbers stuff aside, this is obviously going to be, not as fancy as the new Grand Wagoneer that came out. It's a bit more subdued, but because it's a bit more subdued, I think it looks better.
I really like the front end.
Yeah, I think this would have made actually a better Grand Wagoneer than the new Grand Wagoneer. But also, if you look at this interior on the Summit version.
Oh, I like the steering
version,
wheel, Jeffrey. I like the steering wheel. They put the Jeep steering wheel in it.
It's got quilted leather, open pore wood, and that open pore wood actually goes all the way even to the steering wheel, dude.
Ooh, that looks good, man.
Yeah, because the Grand Wagoneer, like I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it super luxurious.
Yeah.
But because they tried to do that, it kind of looked a bit chintzy. This is just the right amount, dude. It's got a nice classy wooden dash, a cut and sewn freaking dashboard too, leather on the steering wheel, like not even just the trim around it, but also the center of it. And it looks like a nice interior. It seats 7. It's a Range Rover, dude.
It's basically not overpriced Range Rover.
Yeah, it's not going to cost $100,000. You get a nice interior. You get the off-road capabilities. You get the nice looks.
Looks good.
And you know what? I'm waiting for them to do the Trailhawk version of this because I think that's going to be real cool. Or the Trackhawk version of it.
It's going to be so unnecessary. That's unnecessary in this car. Like, come on.
It looks good, dude. It looks so good. I want one.
I want one too, dude. Like, screw this. European car manufacturers, go take a shit, okay? You guys keep you guys keep making these shitty cars that aren't good off-road, they aren't good on the road, and they just are not good at anything. And they're expensive as hell. How much is this thing?
I don't know, but I don't imagine it costing too much more than a Grand Wagoneer does now. I mean, not a Grand Wagoneer, a Grand Cherokee does now. Compared to a Range Rover. Okay, Range Rovers are nice cars. They go off-road very well.
Like 200,000 plus.
Yeah, they freaking start at $80,000, $90,000.
And that's base as fuck, dude. You want like a Range Rover autobiography? That shit can go above 150K, 200K easy. If they have the starting, price of this at 50K with options going up to even 70 maybe, I'm okay with that. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I don't think it's gonna start at 50K. That's probably what the Wagoneer is gonna start at. Right?
Yeah.
Not the Grand Wagoneer, but the Wagoneer.
The Wagoneer.
This is probably going to start at like 40K, 30, 40K, and go up to like 50, 60K. But yeah, this is another good American car to look forward to.
As a final bit of news, You know how we were talking and how we
Yeah.
were complaining about the future and how the future doesn't look good and fuck the future and blah, 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 right?
Uh-huh.
Well, here's a little future but blast from the past type dealio going on. So
What?
there's a company in the UK that's making brand new, street legal, 1980 versions of the Ford Escort Rally Mark II cars.
What?
Yes, sir. So this company, which is called Motorsport Tools, and what they're doing is they're making the brand new Ford Mark II cars from the 1980s and 90s and stuff like that. And
What do you mean they're brand new? Like they're like
they're building it. Like they're building it exactly how it was in the olden days kind of thing. But it's new. It's all with new parts and new materials. So it's a new car, but old. That's basically it. So
it's like a freaking Chevy Savannah, like we talked. No, Chevy Express, like we talked about last week.
Kinda, but that is an old car that's just been being made, right? So these guys are like, look, there's some good stuff from the olden times,
Yeah.
but old stuff is hard to maintain. So let's make the old stuff, but just make it new. That's it, you know. So now this thing, the fantastic part is, the prices start around £65,000, which is around $90,000, right? They're gonna do 10 finished cars per year. These Motorsport Tool guys. So if you want to, these guys have options, and it comes with a 2.5 liter Ford engine that makes around 200 horsepower, which is very much the engine of the time that they're trying to represent, right? And it weighs less than 2,200 pounds.
Jeez.
Comes with Bilstein shocks, AP racing brakes, Minilite wheels, and all the other good stuff, right? But if you want to, and this is up to the buyers, and the buyers actually get to work directly with the company if you decide to buy one, about how you want this car, what color, what configurations. If you want to put more power in it, you can get up to a 370 horsepower engine, which is made by another UK engines manufacturer called Millington. And you can also add up to like other stuff like sequential transmissions and other pricey like upgrades that you can add to it, which could bring the cost of it above $140,000 potentially.
That's a lot of money.
But Jeffrey, if you're somebody, like say if it was me, if I had a lot of money, right, and I'm upset that there's nothing new coming out that's cool or fun or interesting, this is something that I would consider. Because it's like, you'll get a pure driving experience.
In a brand new car.
In a brand new car for the cost of an M5.
A brand new Ferrari.
No, $140K will not get you a brand new Ferrari.
Fine, a
today.
brand new Audi R8.
But that's still, dude, Audi R8s are getting above $250K
Fine,
now.
a brand new
M5. That's what this is. And honestly, you drive an F10 or the new one or whatever, it's an M5. Doesn't really make too much of a difference. It looks a little bit different, maybe it's a little faster, all that stuff. But this will be unique.
You know, why don't manufacturers take a page out of this book? They've got these old iconic cars. Honda has the S2000, Toyota has the Supra, BMW has the freaking
All the M's.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like, just make them again.
Yeah, just imagine if BMW today came out with the E30, except with modern parts and modern bits, and maybe a little extra horsepower or something.
Yeah, you know who's done this?
It would sell, dude. It would sell.
You know
What?
who's
Who?
done this?
Who?
Aston.
Yeah.
Aston made the DB5 brand
Again.
new
Yeah,
parts,
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Even with all the James Bond bits in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, those are, I'm sure, all sold out. They cost like $1 million and whatnot.
Probably.
Just make them. How hard can it be? Guys, you're not developing anything new. You probably still have some of the tooling for the old things. And, like, just get them out of the shed, dust them off a bit, and then put it together some new cars and sell them for, you know, who cares? Sell it for an exorbitant amount of money. People will probably still buy it. Just do it, guys. Just do it. We want these old cars. Make them. Bring back the old times, and then you could use that money to fund the rest of your electric car world,
And
the
your
rest
other
of your
bullshit.
freaking your flying grandma drone things, that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
that stuff. And well, with that advice, that's going to be the end of our show for this week. As always, guys, you can check us out at thecurbsidepodcast.com. where you'll find links to our show. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, all of that stuff. You can also support our show at anchor.fm/the Curbside Podcast/support. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just look up the Curbside Podcast. Share the show with your friends. Rate it on your podcasting apps. Go and tell people if you like this show. And we would really, really, really appreciate that.
And we have social media, like everybody else in the rest of the world. Instagram, we're on there at the Curbside Podcast. Twitter at the Curbside Pod. Gmail, yes, we still have Gmail. The Curbside Podcast at gmail.com. Facebook, we're on there, facebook.com/the Curbside Podcast. And TikTok, we're on TikTok too, at Curbside Podcast. So follow us on the social, send us DMs and all that other fun stuff. Any questions, any comments, any suggestions about what you want to hear on the show, we're open to it.
Tell Parth about how his doggy is barking in the background.
Doggy is barking in the background, the new pepperoni. She's barking at something, Lord knows what. And finally, but not least, that's not how that saying goes. Thank you to Kid Dope for the intro and outro to the show, Fast Cars and Wild Hearts.
As always, my name is Jeff.
I'm Parth.
Remember, drive safe, and life is too short to drive boring cars.
Bye!